Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, we are just reviewing the year of 2017 in movies. My favorite. I'm not going to say this is the best because let's be real. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen, and these are definitely not the best movies to come out this year. However, these are my favorite movies to come out this year, so let's just get to it. But before we start with number 10, I do want to say that there are a couple movies on this list that I have not reviewed yet. They are coming down the line probably in the next week or two, because there was a couple of things that I saw kind of last minute that I had to squeeze in there, and there are a couple movies that I have not yet gotten a chance to see. So if you're wondering why a certain movie is not on this list, comment down below and I'll let you know either the reason why I didn't put it in the list, or I'll tell you that I didn't see it, which, I mean, there's a lot of those Oscar movies that I haven't seen yet. Okay, at number 10 is a movie that's probably not on many people's, at least critics or actual reviewers list, is Murder on the Orient Express, which I know is very popular with a lot of people who are just kind of going to see movies. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I loved the look of it. I liked the dialogue. I liked the cast. I'm very excited to see where it goes in the next one, since they're actually going ahead with Murder on the Nile or something like that, the next book in the Agatha Christie novel, I guess. I think Hercule Poirot is a fascinating character, especially with Kenneth Branagh directing and playing this character. I think there's a lot more to develop, and I just really would like to see more from this, and I'm glad we are going to see more. So that is my number 10. Number 9 is going to be a movie that not a lot of people saw, and I'm really sad about it. It's called Colossal. Colossal is kind of this really small movie about this really big thing, and I think that this movie, I'm going to put out an actual review of this, but my snippet of this is that this movie plays on your expectations in a way that makes this whole thing, this 2 hours, hour and a half, or I think it's hour and a half, completely surprising and not where you would ever think that this movie would go. And so this is definitely number 9. God, I wish more people would see it. Colossal stars Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis, and you should definitely check it out. I will be doing a review on this movie because I liked it so much. And also, if you want to watch it before my review, it's on Hulu, so please go see that. At number 8 is going to be Thor Ragnarok. This movie, while it's probably not the best film out of the Marvel universe, you probably have to give that to something more like a Winter Soldier. This movie did something that I don't think any other Marvel film has done, and made a pure comedy. And while Guardians of the Galaxy was very funny, it wasn't on the level of Thor Ragnarok funny, where really that's what the movie was. If we're talking subgenres inside superhero films, Thor Ragnarok is a comedy. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was visually stunning, and it actually made me care about Thor for really the first time ever. At number 7 is going to be another superhero film, my favorite of the year, and that would be Wonder Woman. I know this is kind of surprisingly low on my list, but there's a couple that I just really needed to fit in up there. This movie really did a lot for, first of all, the DC franchise, basically saving it and giving me hope for things like Aquaman and all of these other things that are in development. Even though Justice League wasn't necessarily what I wanted it to be, Wonder Woman was more than what I wanted it to be. Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot are an amazing duo, and I really can't wait to see what they do with Wonder Woman 2, and see if they can live up to the hype of this movie, and also I'm interested to see what the box office is going to be like, because I don't know where the DC universe is going to be at that point, and I don't know if it's all going to work out, but I'm very excited for the sequel, and this movie gave us great characters as well as things we haven't seen in movies, with a lead heroine like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and it also gave us some pretty unforgettable scenes, especially the No Man's Land scene, which I think is one of the best in the entire year when it comes to scenes. So that is my number 7. At number 6 is another movie that I have not had the chance to review yet, but I saw over my break that I took in between Christmas and New Year's, and that would, of course, be Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. This is not a movie that ever should have worked. It is not. But you put in The Rock, you give me Karen Gillan, you give me the iconic Jack Black, and even Kevin Hart, who, even though his shtick doesn't always work for me, it worked in this movie, and I never got tired of it. I think that the 4 actors in that played teenagers so well, and they also gave the teenagers enough personality in that first little bit that we see them that you can believe that these 4 actors are playing these teenagers. This movie is surprisingly funny. It's enjoyable from start to finish, and also I cried. I might have had one single tear at the end, and you will be getting a review on this because this is a great movie. But this is my number 6. It might surprise everybody, and it's probably not going to be on anybody else's list, but it's on mine. At number 5, which is probably another movie that's going to be on no one's list but my own, and that is Valyrian and the City of a Thousand Planets. I think that's the full name. I just keep calling it Valyrian. I love this movie. The more and more I think about it, the more time that's passed, I really, really love this movie. I think that it's such a shame that it did so bad in the theaters. And I think that it could have that second life in Blu-ray. I haven't heard much of it, but I mean, look at Edge of Tomorrow. Like, that bombed in theaters and did a very slow but like surely built up a whole bunch of cult following with that. I hope Valyrians like it because it is a good movie. It's visually stunning. Also, I mean, yeah, so what? Cut out 20 minutes of film, it doesn't make a difference. Rihanna should not have been in it, but everyone else was awesome. I liked the world building, and I want to see a second one. Probably never going to happen, but I want to see it. At number 4 is going to be Stephen King's It. If you know me well, you know I don't do horror. I don't do scary movies. I just don't. Ever since my parents showed me Chucky when I was like 5 years old, which, why would you do that, parents? Anyway, since then, I've really not done it whatsoever, and I can count on my one hand how many scary movies I've seen. It is one of them, and oh boy, was I proven wrong, because this movie is so good. And to me, it wasn't really scary, mainly because what the kids were afraid of, I don't find scary at all. I don't think those are scary, okay? If you've seen my review, you know I've gone through all of this. But this movie really just made a sort of Goonies meets what Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of what they're saying. I don't watch a lot of horror films, so I don't know what to compare it to, but it has a Goonies feel to it, and Goonies is one of my favorite films. It has some great kid actors, and honestly, I can't wait to see It 2, the sequel part of it with the adults. I can't wait to see who they cast. I want to see this opening night. Like, I'm very, very excited. At number 3 comes Lady Bird. I think that Lady Bird is just such a realistic portrayal of a mother-daughter relationship, also just like trying to figure out who you are when you don't feel like you fit in with anyone around you. I think this is a breakout hit for Saoirse Ronan, who, even though she's been acting for ages, she hasn't really quite gotten that thing. I think that she is just so charismatic as Lady Bird. And then you have Greta Gerwig, who this is her first time solo directing a movie. If she's not nominated for an Oscar, I'm going to be so pissed. And I think this is a movie that nearly everyone, I'm going to say 99% of people, can relate to. You don't have to be a teenage girl. You don't have to be a mother. You don't even have to be a daughter who is close to their mom. Like, you can find something that you really, really love about this movie. At number 2 is the animated film from Pixar. It's Coco. This is a movie that I 100% thought would be my top movie of the year when I came out of it. I adore this film. Like, it is probably my second favorite Pixar film. I just don't think anything can beat The Incredibles for me, but the Coco is just such a heartwarming, and it just like, it tears your heart apart, puts it back together by the end of it, and it's beautifully done. I love seeing a different culture represented on screen, something that I really have never experienced on screen before, and I loved the music in it. I just think it was so well done. And even though it doesn't do what like a Toy Story will do, or what Incredibles 2 will do, or even what like a Moana or any of those things that have recently come out, Frozen, I think that this is leaps and bounds ahead of so much animation that is happening currently in the animation landscape. It's a tale that anybody can sit there and watch and feel something. And if you don't cry in this movie, I don't trust you. And at number 1, my favorite movie of the year is, of course, The Disaster Artist. I think this film hits on all cylinders. I think the acting's fantastic. The script is fantastic. I think it was a genius idea to make this book into a movie, the book was about the making of the worst movie ever made, in The Room, and it's just like, it's fascinating, but it's also so respectful. Like, it doesn't go and make fun of everything that happens. It really does like feel like they're honoring the people that were in this movie, that have become such like a cult status, like huge thing. And I am just like, I'm in awe what they did with the Disaster Artist, and it kind of turned me into a fan of James Franco, which I've always kind of liked but never been a huge fan of. But this movie kind of did it for me, and I would be really, really sad if he did not at least get a nomination for playing Tommy Wiseau. God, I can't wait to see that movie again. I really can't. It's great. You got to go see it. Okay, everybody, that is my top 10 favorite movies of the year. Remember, these are not the best, so do not try to destroy me in the comments for including things like Valyrian and Jumanji. Don't at me. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy my opinions on these movies. Remember, I will be doing probably a few different reviews later on down the week or next week on the movies that I have not reviewed yet, so stay tuned for that. Also, I'm doing my most disappointing list and my most anticipated for 2018 list, so stay tuned for that. Very excited to do those for you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.